Stick around for this episode of the Tune Pack Podcast. We got Michael Grover from Bag Lady.
Hey, it's Michael Grover here. Stick around.
Welcome to the Tune Pack Podcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop, Lee Pierce. And today we are lucky enough to be joined by Michael Grover from Bag Lady. Michael, thanks for joining us. Could you take a minute and introduce yourself, please?
What's up, Lee? My name is Michael Grover from Bag Lady. You already did a great job doing that. Yeah, we're a band out of Western Massachusetts, kind of like melodic hardcore meets alternative metal with other influences of like emo, alternative, all kinds of stuff, really. I don't want to be confined to like even a genre or two, but pretty much the goal is to have full personal and creative liberation of expression of any kind of style and just kind of have it all fall under that umbrella. But in the past, it seems to have a tendency to land kind of in those places. It's heavier, kind of melodic, a little dark, trippy, lots of energy.
Oh, high energies for sure. That definitely fits you. You're like me, idle hands, man. You can't sit still. You've always got 100 things going. And like you said, kind of trying to leave it open like that. Kind of what we're here talking about today. Like you're the front man for Bag Lady. I met you. You were backing up Jay Prozac with the Prozacs. So how did that come about?
To be honest, I said I would like think about these things from your questions, and like I totally haven't. I just like I'm fully winging it here. I met Jay Prozac at a place in Northampton called the 13th Floor Lounge, I want to say, or JJ's Tavern. And the first time I ever saw the Prozacs play, they were in the middle of like one of the songs, and it had a break, a rest moment, and like I just heard Jay just go "fuck you, Rudy," in reference propaganda, and from that moment in time, I felt like someone else in the world got it, and like I wasn't alone, because like this kid in my room or driving in my car on the highway, whatever, just like blasting How to Clean Everything by those guys and being like, this shit rules. Like I'm so late to the party, but have kind of an older head like Jay directly reference that. And at the time, I was like, oh shit, that guy, like he knows. And so I just like struck up a conversation with him. And, you know, at that point in time, nothing much really became of it. It wasn't only till the last year or two where I really started like to develop a relationship with Jay Prozac and really become friends with him. And then, um, yeah, just started to play music. And I think I expressed some interest and willingness to like join the fold to help him out, because it's kind of a hodgepodge effort on his behalf to like, you know, wrangle in dudes at any given time who were like available to play certain opportunities. So I just like told him that I was available to do that and interested, and thought it could be a fun experience. And so the rest, as they say, is history.
Now, was that difficult for you going from? Well, how long has Bag Lady been a project? Your current project,
I
how long has that
started.
been going?
I came up with the name for Bag Lady when I was 18, so that was 12 years ago. Um, I was writing for it before then, but I officially put out the first EP in 2019. So those incepted, conceived, whatever, much before then. I would say like the true birth of the band would have happened like around the time of the release of the first record, or maybe a little while there before. So 2019, 2018, maybe. Yeah.
Did you have any issues with going from, the main creative and being, well, front man to taking a step back and playing bass in a punk band? Not usually, not the, most spotlight gig.
Sure, yeah. Um, Also do play guitar for, I just gotta say that as a self plug. I do play guitar for Jay Prozac and the
Oh,
Prozacs as well. So I'm not just a bassist, man. I'm so much more than just that. People are gonna think I'm a loser, Lee. No, I'm just kidding. Bass is super valuable, super vital. Love playing bass in general. Actually, I played bass in a band with my dad when I was like 17 or something, and loved it. And to me, like all components of a band are just as important as the other components, and that's what makes it this thing that's bigger than each one of us as individuals. And I'm happy to have a part in that. I love Jay's songs. I love Jay as a person, and I respect his hustle and his grind and his massive back catalog, and like I know he's just a lifer in this shit. So it actually was a tremendous honor to be able to accompany him and to join forces and add a little bit of my own creativity and my own ambition to help him push that forward and also gain exposure and more opportunities myself. It was really a great experience and still continues to be. We haven't played a show in a little while, but that's still a thing in my mind. So yeah, it's awesome. Jay's the man.
Jay is professional as professional gets when it comes to musicians. I mean, through
Yeah,
and through, he does everything the right way. He makes sure the people he works with are taken care of. And I've never heard anyone say a bad word about him. I got nothing but respect for him because he has nothing but respect for other people, and it's not, he's cool. So speaking of Jay,
good dude.
obviously getting to work with him, it's not going to be the same as if you were stepping in to fill in for any other band. Jay is who he is, and he's easy to work with or easy to work for, depending upon how you want to look at it. Do you ever go into any of those situations where does it feel more stressful because it's not your project, so you're kind of worried about their brand, or is it less stressful because now you're not worried about your own? You get to just not, you're not that you're not important, but the stress isn't on you.
Yeah, I don't know that I really think of it like that either way. I kind of just picture it as same as I would with any project, just like playing music with my friends, and that's just a huge blessing. And I don't I don't necessarily like need to be in the spotlight. It's not. I love entertaining. I love musical performance, and that's really what it is at the end of the day. Like for Bag Lady, I happen to be the front man of it and the founder of the project and whatnot. But to just be on the stage, surrounded by friends, and playing music is truly like home for me. And there's nothing quite like it. I mean, there are other things like martial arts and shit, but that really just grounds me and centers me to the present moment here now and allows for that like cathartic kind of release. And you look around and everybody's like on the same page and they're like we're doing this together, and it's like it doesn't matter if I'm in the front or in the back or whatever, like we're all like making the sound together. And so it's just cool to be a part of it and feel feel the music and the moment and shit.
And you've got to made some good well, because this whole industry or any part of the entertainment industry, specifically music industry, is about networking and the connections you can make, and being able to be a part of a band that you're not a full-time normal, well, would be considered a full-time member of, and be able to do those tours. Like we met in McHenry, and would you have been through there if it wasn't for playing with the Prozac? So you get to meet a lot of people. Has there been some where that's really, I want to say paid off, but where it's actually been really helpful to you from doing those shows like that?
Yeah, no doubt, man. Any opportunity that comes about is like an experience that you get to have to connect with other people in the room. You never know who's going to be in the room, so just show up promptly, professionally, and do your shit, and try to just do the best job that you can, and get past the mistakes as quickly as possible, and not get in your head about it. And yeah, just be kind, and generally just like a cool hang, and like yeah, you never know who you're going to truly resonate or connect with or have the opportunity to pursue a relationship in the future. So definitely a lot of value, no matter the show, whether it's in a basement or whether it's like at Madison Square Garden, which I wouldn't know, but like all those people are either potentially friends or fans or people who are going to continue to help encourage or support you or help build up your dream. And who knows like what kinds of skills and talents other people have too that might inspire you, and like it just could become this like synergistic kind of relationship. So I don't take any experience, any show for granted. Uh, there's always potential opportunity, and just yeah, blah blah
Well,
blah blah
and
blah.
there's a lot to be said too. I know I have friends who just do the hired gun. They like just they're touring musicians or studio musicians. They got their own projects, but nothing that's they make their living doing helping out other people, working with other bands, and being good at it. I mean, it's all about networking then. If you're looking at doing that, being a touring musician, a hired touring musician or a studio musician, you've got to be good with people. You've got to be able to be professional and step
Mm.
into any situation and be like, you got to kind of be able to be boss and employee at the same time because you got to show you know exactly what you're doing, but you can take orders really well.
Yeah, which is interesting. It's never been something I've been all that great at. to be honest. But I guess when it comes to music, I'm just happy to be there, happy to be playing, and so it makes it easier when it's something I truly enjoy. Yeah, definitely lots of times in my life where I didn't come across professionally and like wasn't the person I am today. And so like it's a tremendous honor to be here today and to have the opportunities that I have and to show up correct and like fully present in the moment. And yeah, just like truly take in all of it and put my best foot forward. Uh Trying to put my best foot forward for you tonight. Love you, Jay. Um you know what I mean though, like there's definitely been times where I was just a royal fuck up, falling down on stage drunk or knocking over the drum set and just all kinds of shit. You wake up the next day and you're humiliated, and those things are just they're painful and stinging learning experiences that left me personally with a choice of like, all right, well, I'm either going this way or I'm going that way, and I made my choice, and I'm grateful for the choice that I made in that regard of just being sober and shit, and I really value that, and yeah, it's just awesome, man.
Well, oh, sorry. Congratulations on your sobriety. I
Thanks.
applaud you for that. I have 9 years myself, so everything you're saying, I understand 100%. Yeah, there's some things I can't ever take back. That's for damn sure. Some ways I acted, and always makes you wonder where you'd be if it hadn't been. But you wouldn't be where you are the same way, though. You know what I mean? Wouldn't
Right.
have the redemption story to be the people we are today if it wasn't for the fuck ups we were back in the day. And as long as everyone else still sees that it was fuck ups back in the day and not still, that's the main thing. But I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah, no doubt. I once got fired from a Dunkin' Donuts after like working there for maybe a week or less, and I had a manager who it was like my first shift in the morning rush, and I was on the sandwich station, which I had never done before. And like, you got to like get the hash browns and the sausage, egg, and cheese croissant, whatever your thing is, And I remember they gave me these gloves that were like too big, so like the tips of the fingers were like floppy at the ends, and I'm supposed to be grabbing these like wax hash brown bags and like separating them and spreading them apart and putting very specifically 6 hash browns in the bag, right? But I remember like standing there and like the pressure of working at a Dunkin' Donuts, which love me some Dunkin', no shade to anyone who works at Dunkin', but it's just not for me. But I remember like trying to take these gloves and like open the hash brown bags and just like absolutely struggling, and like I can't even open a fucking bag, and like this manager is like right in my ear, and he's like, come on man, you gotta go faster, faster, faster. And I just stopped, and this comes back to like taking orders from Jay or in the music biz or whatever, and I stopped and I turned to him, and I was just like, dude, you need to chill the fuck out. And I got fired that day for that. um I wasn't aggressive or anything about it, but just like in the moment, I'm like, bro, I'm bagging hash browns at a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like 19 or some shit. Like, quit breathing down my neck. There's so much more to life than this bag of hash browns. So I don't know if I got daddy issues or whatever it is, but I've never been too big into people telling me what to do. Like, I'll happily do anything for anybody, but like the minute you start telling me what to do, I'm like, I don't want to do that unless I choose that I'm doing it. And that's just kind of how I've always been, for better or worse. And I don't know.
I'll tell you,
Yeah.
don't be embarrassed because I've been fired from worse jobs than that for dumber shit than that. So do not feel bad about. I'm not even talking about it. I'll message you later and shit. But like, hey, they're
Word.
fucking business. Like, I'm not putting that out there. So you can stay. His no, I mean his story is way worse than mine. Is what I meant to say.
I'll still take a large iced caramel, one less swirl, regular cream though, no sugar. If you're listening.
Well, so you've got you do a lot of stuff other than the music to help soothe your soul and that you put yourself into. You do the martial arts and you do art as well. Want to talk a bit about that? Like, what got you into martial arts?
Oh, sure. When I was like 11 or 12, maybe, I started training Taekwondo, maybe for like 6 months to a year or something like that, and I really took a liking to it then. But then, like, just started getting older. Different things happened, like sports, girls, weed, music, things like that. Just martial arts really wasn't as interesting because I was a kid, and it was like, especially hardcore traditional Taekwondo. it's pretty slow going as far as like the evolution of it and like the notable milestones or tangible milestones like belt ranks and things like that. Like in this particular place, like they don't just hand them out. So I'm like, man, I've been here forever. Probably I'm bored as shit. Um, Nevertheless, like when I had quit drinking back on April 4th, 2023, um, I guess I was just like in search of. I guess I quit drinking for like about 30 days and I ended up relapsing. And I had started taking Taekwondo during that period of time where I had started to get sober and knew that I needed to. And then it dawned on me at some point during that relapse, like that I really, really loved Taekwondo and it just like provided so much, just so much for my life and my being. And I was like, I can't, not only outside in music and everything in life, but in the dojang, which is like the Taekwondo school, I am not going to be able to live up to my full potential and capacity. And it's something I think I really have a gift for. And I want to like do the best that I can and show up and try to really excel at it and push myself to be great. And I ended up like letting the drinking go for good and sticking with the taekwondo. And then, eventually, about 10 months ago now, I also started training jujitsu just to like basically supplement the stand up. Taekwondo, for people who don't know, is the Korean traditional martial art of kicking, punching, and blocking. And it's mostly a stand up based martial art, kind of range fighting, lots of kicks, lots of speed. Um, but jiu-jitsu is a Brazilian martial art. I think that originated in Japan, but was popularized by Brazil and like Royce Gracie in the UFC and shit. And that's definitely more of a grappling martial art that is submission based, chokes, joint locks, that has elements also of judo and wrestling. So kind of just wanted to like balance the striking and the stand-up game with the grappling, and also Taekwondo because of its traditional nature, which you won't get that everywhere. Some places are like McDojos or belt factories, and they just want your money and shit. But like if it's legit about the tradition and the discipline, like it does take a long time. It's real slow going. And jujitsu is kind of the opposite. It's still like a long journey, at least as far as like getting belts and shit goes. Like on average, 10 years to get a black belt. But the actual art of grappling and being in the moment and rolling with people um, in class and in competitions and shit, like is super intense, super visceral, and like highly stimulating and engaging. And you can also kind of throw your own spin, your own creative flair into that as well. So I suppose that balancing it out, jujitsu made me appreciate being able to go a little slower in taekwondo and take my time to be disciplined and do the same thing thousands and thousands of times over and over again. Whereas taekwondo made me appreciate jujitsu for being able to go faster and like be super like full speed ahead, um, balls to the wall, you know. But both have their place. Both are very, very beautiful and a big part of my life, and have taught me a lot of humility and uh, conditioned my body and my spirit. And I'm super grateful to have the opportunity to be like physically able to do those things and to have found them and have an interest in them for sure.
Well, and just being physically fit is good for being on stage too. Especially when you're a high energy performer, you put a lot into it. You don't want to be the guy wheezing on your third song. So I mean, cardio is kind of important. I mean, and I'm not in great shape, like, but no, I get. 'Cause I did judo back when I was younger, and then I did MMA, but I only did it for cardio because I used to compete in strongman and Highland games, and I was
Oh,
around
wow.
285 pounds. And so I used to train MMA 3 times a week just for my cardio. And we'd go in and we'd go in with these uh, jujitsu classes, and these guys like these high ranking belts and stuff. And man, that was something else watching that. That just getting manhandled by these dudes like half my size was, it was funny. It was absolutely awesome. But yeah, those are both really cool disciplines. Like I said, I've done a lot of training, and like I said, I mean, just the cardio is, it's, you can't go wrong, man. I mean, we got to get better, and especially when you get sober, you realize all the damage you did to your body. You got a lot of extra work to make up for it as well.
No doubt, man. 3 years later, in a lot of regards, I feel like I'm still unscrewing myself from all that, but I've definitely come a long way. And yeah, lots of cardio. I feel like cardio kind of is relative too to whatever you're training for. Like, I'm not a long distance marathon runner, so it's like I have pretty good cardio for jujitsu, but it's like if I went to go run 26.2 miles, I'd be fucking dying, you know what I mean? And vice versa, like if a marathon runner hops on the mat, like it's totally different. And I feel like, especially with jujitsu, people in general, and I do not claim in any way to be anything at all. Like I still get manhandled regularly myself, and I embrace it. Like it's humbling, truly. But I don't think most people really understand how helpless they are until they set foot in a place like that, where a person half their size or whatever, that's just totally unassuming, the nicest person in the world. They absolutely just like fold your clothes while you're still wearing them, and you're just like, holy shit, bro. Like, what can I even do? And then,
Yeah.
you have two choices at that point. You can either be like, I'm gonna walk away with my tail between my legs, ashamed, and be like, I can't, my ego can't handle getting my ass beat like that. Or you can recognize it as an opportunity to be like, okay, I need to figure out what these guys are doing so that I have some sort of chance that like nobody can ever do that to me again, you know? And it's super fun. But yeah, being in good shape helps too. I lift pretty much every day, and and do the martial arts and shit. I definitely have a ton of energy. I notice like being sober and everything, like my capacity for like processing and handling stress and just managing like way more things in my life. It's like you basically go through life like this when you're all fucked up all the time, and then like the
Well,
whole world just
that's
opens
the
up,
whole
man.
point of it is we're trying to
Yeah.
put on blockers so we can only see what we want to see. That's a lot. I think that's a big part of drug and alcohol abuse. At least I know it was for me. So I have a question. With being a creative and addiction issues goes hand in hand. I mean, I think we can both probably name a billion fucking people that happens to. Um, I know for me when I got sober, it wasn't that I wasn't as creative. I think it was I was scared of it because I know what it brought out in me, or vice versa. Did you have any issues with that when you first got sober?
Can you maybe rephrase the question a little bit, just as to what I
Yeah,
had an issue with or whatever?
when you first got sober, did you have any issues with your creativity? Like, because like for
Oh.
me, I know it was I was partly afraid of my creativity being sober because of where it took me, and also afraid
Mm.
because I know I felt like I couldn't do it while I was sober. Did you have any of those issues when you first sobered up?
To- Totally, Lee. I totally. See what I did there? Huh? Gotcha. Um, yeah, man. I think part of what held me back for so long from even getting sober was that, like, I mean, I had some certain truths within myself that I had to come to terms with and like be honest about to allow to leave me before I could start like picking up the pieces and moving forward. But in general, like being inebriated, being stoned, whatever, like and music, all of those things somehow amalgamated into a very deep sense of my own personal identity and who I viewed myself as a person. And so I definitely had a lot of fears, like making this dream for myself to like play music and make a life out of it when I was a kid. It's like I swore to myself that I would honor that dream and like do it as long as I possibly could and never compromise on that, no matter how I evolved, how I changed, just hold fast to that. Um, but at some point, like mostly weed and alcohol got involved. And then I started to subconsciously associate those things with my ability to be creative, like oblivious to the fact that I really had still been drawing and playing music and stuff long before those things were ever even involved in my life. And I kind of forgot that part of myself. And so there's so many lies and so many illusions wrapped up in that. But at a certain point, I realized like I'm very much not happy, and when I'm like falling down on stage and shit and fucking up my bands and all this stuff, like it's I really was forced to make a choice one way or the other because I couldn't have both. I'm too manic about it. You know what I mean? So um, I was like, I don't even care. I was willing to even give up my dream that I held on to for my whole life if it meant that I could have any kind of chance of finding some sort of sense of genuine happiness or like reconnection to myself. And I felt like I really had lost myself. And so I was definitely terrified to let go of that because that meant truly sacrificing my identity and letting go of all the things I thought that I was destined to be. And taking that risk, I found on the back end of it that I'm just as, if not more creative than I ever was, way more focused. My voice has improved. My dexterity and ability to perform has improved. My ability to connect and resonate with an audience in person during a performance has improved. And like the act of performing itself, like I realized I always loved performing music, but part of it was being fucked up too as a party, you know what I mean? But like now that I play when I'm sober, it's like I look at everybody in the crowd and I'm like, yo, like we're actually here having this experience together and exchanging energy, and there's no barrier, no wall, no like nothing that stands between our ability to connect. So I feel like I'm really able to resonate with people more, and I think people feel that, the honesty in that expression, just based on like the crowd responses we've had and the interactions I've had with people in the audience, and ability to, you know, get them to participate or just like feedback after the show, etc. So as afraid as I was to let all those things go, the courage that it took to do it turned into like truly a beautiful blessing. And I've also written a ton more music. I've put out a new record I'm rolling out now that I recorded fully sober called Lost Cause. We put out 4 singles from that, and I feel like it's the most concise, cohesive, streamlined, fucking heavy, intense, best produced music I've ever made. And like I was fully there for all of it. Like I'm not questioning it. Like I'm like, no, this is like what it is, and I'm stoked on it. So yeah, that was my experience.
Well, I think that goes for a lot. When a creative person finally, or anyone, I'm not saying just but particularly when creative people get sober, there's that initial like, can I do it? Can I still find that stuff in me? And you can. It just, the thing is, you got to look through a lot of bullshit. You got to look into yourself and see shit you didn't want to see. That's what you're covering up with drinking and drugs all the time. And the stuff that you do find is usually where the best art comes from. Like you said, now you're putting out stuff that's even better, and you're able to put out even you're like you said, you're writing, you're creating all this new music because your brain's not blocked, but also you're not second guessing yourself, and because you're becoming more comfortable with who you are. I'm going to be 50 soon and I'm still not comfortable with who I am. I don't know if it
Mm.
ever happens, but I think we always try to get there a little bit each day. And I know I sure as shit couldn't have done it without being sober. I mean, the only thing is when you're sober, you never have an excuse except for that's just me. It's who I am.
Yeah, not having an excuse is a great thing, man. Like nothing external to blame. Just, you know, just being willing to be all right with yourself and your own skin between your own 2 ears, and be like, you know what, like I made mistakes, or I messed up that aspect of the performance, or something went technically wrong. And you know, you realize that certain things are kind of out of your control, and that if you just show up and do the best that you can, the things that happen anyway, like at least if you screw up, you don't have to chew yourself out for being like, it's because I was fucking up. It's like sometimes things just are fucked up, and it's not because you're fucking them up. You know what I mean? So that's a little bit of a relief, I think.
Yeah, I've played shows where we sounded great. The sound guy was awesome. The lighting guy was awesome. Wasn't a huge crowd, but it was good. And you get off stage and you're like, "What the fuck just happened? I don't know why. I don't know. You don't know why the formula was there, but something just. And some days you just can't figure it out. And when you don't have an excuse, it's not that it'll just eat at you because you'll be like, why? What happened? What happened? But then you have to look, like we were saying, you have to look deeper, look inside you to figure out what it was, and then we become better people because we're able to see those errors and figure out how to fix them or work around them or work with them. Sometimes that wasn't a mistake, it was just something you didn't know you could do or didn't know the band could do or weren't expecting, and now you can turn it into a positive or turn it into a strength.
Sure, man. Sure. That's valid. You just got to roll with the punches, dude. The show must go on, you know? For real. Never let yourself get too down for too long. It's all right to feel those things. But I noticed too, like, not just an improvement in performance, or even more like potent writing or whatever, but just the subject matter of things that I've written about since then too. I know like the record I'm rolling out now, Lost Cause, is pretty heavy, pretty intense, and super dope. I have no regrets about it. But like I met like a lovely lady recently, And I've been inspired to actually like write a love song for her. And this other song called Love Is Free, I'll just plug it now. I think I'm gonna make like an EP or maybe even LP with like 5 or 6 songs that are like more sweet and heartfelt, um, with like full band versions, and then like do the back half acoustically. That's something I've been thinking about. Um, but just coming from a more pure place and not feeling the need necessarily to like get out all of this anger or whatever. There's a certain resolve and a certain like peace that comes with your being, and being in these places. And it's like it's okay to change direction or like write about some different things. But before, when I was closed off from like genuinely feeling joy or happiness, other than in like a manic episode, like really all the things I was feeling like 95% of the time were just like sullen and despair and being tired and just feeling broken and angry and pissed at the world and pissed at myself and depressed, anxious, all those things, man. You know what I mean? And it's like to actually have a chance to feel some real happiness, some real presence. It's like to have the opportunity to feel those things so genuinely that you're actually able to channel them into your art and into your music is pretty enlightening. And it's something I wasn't sure that I would ever have the opportunity to express, or I didn't really even have a desire to express because I didn't have those feelings. But now that I do, I'm like, whoa, I can put this beautiful, loving stuff into art as well, and still have it be cool and sincere, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think all artists, if you stick around long enough, you end up growing and changing as a person. Of course, it's going to come out in your art. So it's going to be cool to see going kind of a different route as you're growing. I mean, this new album obviously is everything you're feeling, getting sober and coming out of that part of your life. And this next one's the next step. So it's going to be really neat to see and hear. I can't wait to hear it, man.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It'll also be the first time that I've opened up the door to other musicians recording on the record, except on Um, there's been a couple parts that mixing engineer Jim Fogarty has done at the he did a little bit of guitar work on our song Burn Me Out, and then also the piano at the end of Don't Have Long from our album Epitome of Self Neglect. But other than that, the last track on the first album, Head Trip, that featured my dad actually on backup vocals, this dude Joe Boyle on lead guitar, and Jim Fogarty, the mixing engineer, as well on drums. Other than that, I've recorded and produced and engineered and performed and written all of the instruments and all of the vocals for all the songs on all the records. But this lineup of guys that I'm working with now is going to be the first time that we actually like all record our parts. I'm still doing like the heart of the writing and everything, but just inviting my friends and trusting in them and their belief in the band to actually invite them into the fold of that and kind of like releasing the reins on my baby a little bit is going to be a cool exploratory process. And Josh McKelvey, our drummer, freaking phenomenal drummer, dude, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what he's going to lay down in the studio for this next effort. So that's another thing that's going to be different about it too, is like inviting some close people and some loved ones who I think are also really talented into the fold, and like allow them to put their own creative signature and stamp on the music. That's it's literally just all been me pretty much this far. So it's a little weird to be like, okay, I trust you to do this, but like they're so hyped on it that I'm like, all right, bro, if you're really like not indifferent and like you're super passionate about this, like I think you're great, so talented and genius. So um, that'll be kind of another interesting new dynamic that's brought into the music, along with the different sort of subject material and general vibes.
Well, it sounds cool. That'll be kind of fun. It'll be kind of interesting having to try to let go of the reins a little bit. But when you've got musicians you're comfortable working with and you're having fun working with and they're excited about it, it's not like you're having to ask them, like, please, will you do it? Like they want to do it. You know you're going to get your best out of them. So I'm really looking forward to hearing that. So what else you got coming up?
Um, yeah, so by the time this comes out, we might have already done this, but we have a pretty big show coming at the Webster in Hartford, Connecticut, with a band called Brass Against. Pretty stoked to play with those guys. We have lots of other shows here. Let me check really quickly. Looks like we're gonna be playing in Lowell and East Hampton, Mass, Woodbridge, Connecticut, Nashua, New Hampshire, Hartford, back in Lowell again. early March. So if this comes out in like mid March or whatever, these things will already be passed and we'll have more shows on the books. But other things you can look forward to that are more tangible are just like a few more singles rolling out from Lost Cause. And sometime in the spring, I imagine in April or May, we'll actually be doing like a full fledged album release party for that. Kind of just like waiting to save up the bread to like get the vinyl for it and everything. Never pressed any Bag Lady to vinyl, so kind of want to really do it up right for this one. And yeah, man, just rolling out a new record and just gonna keep pushing forward. I've been playing a shitload of shows, so branch out regionally. Hopefully, at some point in 2026, do our first like independent tour for a week or something like that. And haven't really chosen a direction yet, but yeah, just gonna stay in school, keep pushing out new music, keep training hard as always, working hard, and hopefully honoring this new loving connection I found. And that's kind of where I see my life heading over the course of the next few months at least. How about you? What do you got going on, man? Who's interviewing
Same
who
shit.
here?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Well, always the usual. Just always picking up new clients, trying to help independent artists. Man, it's what I love to do. I mean, that's why I get to. You reached out to me, and I was excited because I knew we'd have a good time talking today. I'm so glad that you're playing with the Prozacs, right? Everybody got to meet you in McHenry. So, but well, again, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on. I'm really psyched to hear the new stuff. I'm pretty stoked, man. It's gonna be cool. See a different direction and hearing somebody else other than just you on all the instruments. Finally give yourself kind of a break, not really, but really looking forward to it. So thank you again for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. And congrats again on your sobriety.
No
And
doubt, bro. Thank you
everybody,
so much.
oh, absolutely. Everybody, thanks Michael Grover from Bag Lady. Hey, where can anybody find your music, your merch? Can you plug that quick?
Yeah, 100%. We have stuff on all the streaming platforms, just Bag Lady. Um, we have a YouTube channel with like some music videos we've shot. We have a website called bagladymusic.com. You can sign up for our email list there and stay in touch on all upcoming shows. Our Instagram is bag_lady413. And also, we have like a merch store on the website and everything. Or you could just DM us and like happy to ship you whatever. Like it's not super professional. We're in charge of everything and handle all of our interactions and conversations personally. So yeah, you find us, you want some shit, we'll hook it up.
All right, that's you heard it. You want to get your merch, hit them up, and they'll get it to you. All right, well,
Shout out
everybody, thank.
Siren Records, McHenry, Illinois. Hell yeah,
Yep,
we'll be back soon.
cool. I'll get to see you soon. I'm looking forward to that. Then.
Hell yeah, bro.
All right. Well, Michael Grover, thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for watching, listening, whatever it is you're doing. As always, please like, share, subscribe, give me some feedback. Want to know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and most of all, please have fun and be nice to each other. Because if not, there's no fucking point. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.